So we're sitting here, actually having just wrapped up the pod, but we came back to the very beginning. We went back to the... Is it Back to the Future? Is that how that works?
No, it's still the past.
Okay, well, we went to the past.
We went back to the start.
We went back to the start because we care so much about our patrons, and we gained a new one this week.
Well, and we knew it beforehand, and we all just got caught up talking about the schedule of the challenge, all the stuff, and we meant to give a shout out like we always do when we get new patrons. And so this is going to be before even the theme song comes in, and so we wanted to do right by him.
So, here's to you, David. David, how you doing tonight?
We'll be back within just a minute. Welcome back to Smashing Heads Podcast. This is our recap for All Stars 3, Episode 5. My name is Zach, and I'm joined by my wife, Hannah.
Hey.
My best friend, Jeyyy.
How's everybody doing tonight? We're coming to you early this week with the freshest, sickest, dopest, newest episode of the Smashing Heads Podcast.
One of the few times a Wednesday opened up and we were able to record on a Wednesday.
So you see, if it's there, we'll capitalize on it.
Early pearly.
You know, I guess we operate in the vein of a Wes in that we don't have to do it, but we did it for our friends.
Yeah. Foreshadowing.
Right.
The episode.
Because ultimately, at the end of the day, you are who we care about most.
Yeah. And again, we would love to be able to do it on Wednesdays all the time. It doesn't work out that way.
And that includes the people who, have even left us bad reviews.
People left us bad reviews?
All hand.
I can't believe that.
You should, they're here.
I don't know if they are anymore, but one thing that I am glad about, which I found out right before we started recording, one of our patrons, patreon.com/smashingheadspodcast, said that it looks like the challenge CBS is going to premiere the week that All Stars ends.
Oh,
and I was like,
okay.
well, it's like they thought it out for once. Because typically with these overlapping things, they're like, oh, well, we'll just start in the middle of the other one. It doesn't matter. And that's really hard to keep track of. So if you are in charge of the scheduling, congratulations for not being dumb.
Thank you.
I have watched the little teaser trailer for the challenge CBS.
I haven't watched
it. Doesn't show much. It doesn't show hardly any. Like, you don't know who's going to be on the... I don't think they've released a cast list or anything, but I think it's July 9th is when it starts.
Hey, that's coming up.
You're right.
Oh, God.
It's not in the past.
No, I mean, it's coming up pretty soon. It's not super far away.
Well, I mean, we're 5 episodes into All Stars 3, and he said we're halfway done.
Yeah.
So probably 5 more weeks, yeah. So, yeah, that looks like that'll be... Let me look at my calendar real quick. That was my pictures. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it looks like it'll premiere like 4, 5 days after All Stars 3 ends. So, which is smart because you continually get people to keep talking about it. Although I still don't know how I feel about the challenge CBS. It is hosted by TJ, so that's redeeming. But it's only people from Survivor, Big Brother, Love Island, and The Amazing Race.
I personally believe it's going to start wearing on people. I think you're putting too much out.
I think it will reach a new audience.
But I think it's going to oversaturate.
We're going to get challenged out.
Yeah.
I'm afraid that might happen, and it's not going to be kind of how like All Stars is, where it's kind of like the redeeming, fun style. I think it's only going to be heavily dramatized and focused on these CBS people. And then the culmination of is going to be all the foreign ones come and compete against the winner, or maybe the top 3. It can't just be the winners of these other ones because there's only going to be 4 people in the final thing. So I assume they maybe take like the top 3 or the top 5 from each season.
Or like the finalists from each season.
Whatever, and put them against the finalists from the Argentina and the UK and whatever. And because otherwise, like, what are you doing? Which honestly, I think we could ask that about any of it because we really don't know what they're doing. It's not fair to say that whoever wins that is the best in the world when we've seen in All-Stars 3 that there's already some of the best in the world there. And then you have people like CT who you put him in these other things, like he's probably going to win. Yeah. You put Jordyn against these people that have never played the challenge before, he's more probably likely going to win. You put Bananas, like they're going to win. And so it's not fair to say they're the... What's the title they changed it to? Do you guys remember? It's not War of the Worlds.
Champions.
Was it just the World Champions?
I think so.
Well, they're technically not because you're not going against the people who are the best at the challenge. It's all just rookies. Except in the little teaser trailer for the CBS one, I did see, you saw a silhouette of somebody and it was someone with like a beanie on. And I was like, that looks an awful lot like Josh. And he's Big Brother in CBS. And so it's very possible we might get overlapping Josh seasons. Which is what everyone is clamoring for.
He is so entertaining in his own way. I don't think I'd be upset if we got overlapping Josh seasons.
I will give him that, but what a goofy person to hitch your wagon to if you're MTV or
a guy
CBS or whoever
that legitimately missed the cut of coming back probably ever, except that one guy broke his arm. And then they're like, oh, we got to bring Josh back. And then we've been stuck with him ever since.
What would have happened if, what's his name, didn't break his arm?
Is it Alana? Yeah, I think it was Alana.
What would have where would we be today?
Not
without Josh.
Joshless.
We would be Joshless. And I'm, I hate that poor friend broke his arm, but boy.
I think it worked out for the best.
Honestly, I think
we have Josh now.
I think Alana would have kind of been a one and done guy, kind of like that. A handful of those other ones from War of the Worlds that just were here and didn't do anything. I'll give him. He doesn't make things watchable, but he also is very bad sometimes. So
we're here to be entertained.
We'll see. I wonder, as people who don't watch a lot of the CBS shows, how we're going to feel about it, because this is basically a whole new crop of people for us. Yeah. I have gone back and started watching through some Survivor, so we all watched season 26, 28, whatever the Philippines one.
They went to the homeland.
Yeah. We watched that one together, and then I've watched the one in Kenya. I'm almost done with that one, which was like season 3, so it was like 2000, 2001, something like that. I doubt anyone from Kenya is going to be on this season, and I doubt anyone from the one we watch is. But what if Hot Morgan comes back all of a sudden? What if Tony comes back?
Oh my gosh!
I mean, he won the show.
I know, but I didn't like him.
He did play a great game.
He
though.
did, and he knows how to be good on television too.
Yeah, I know. He knows how to lie through his teeth about his wife and his kids and his badge and his dad and everybody else. I don't know. We'll see. The Amazing Race is a show that I always think I would like, but I've never actually watched. And then Love Island, I genuinely do not care about. Have you watched Love Island?
No, I've not.
What did you? Oh, you watched like Too Hot to Handle or something.
Too Hot to Handle, Love Is Blind.
Okay. Oh, so you're not opposed to the genre. It's just
no. And what was it?
You applied to be on Love Is Blind.
I did.
You?
Season 2, I actually did.
Did they ever give you a call back?
No.
Email?
I don't think I fit the mold. I had longer hair at the time, and they don't.
Yeah.
The 2 seasons they've had, they don't typically pull people covered in tattoos, and I wouldn't say I'm covered in tattoos, but with longer hair and look, I'm in good shape, but I'm not chiseled, and so I don't fit the mold. It's fine. I met the girl of my dreams, and I didn't have to go on a TV show to do it. So
you gotta stop rubbing your legs.
Y'all can screw off for all I care.
Yeah. Well, we didn't make the decision.
I would have put you on there and then rooted for you, and then done the live tweeting from your account.
But that's a conflict of interest if she casts you and then roots for you.
There was one guy on there from season 1 who you go back and watch, and he literally was just there to be moral support for any of the guys there.
Moral support?
I remember that guy.
Did you say mortal?
He said moral.
Okay.
He was so sweet. I wanted him to find someone, but he was so encouraging.
He was just there for the guys.
I felt better about my life watching him.
I haven't watched that show.
It's pretty good.
There's another one that Nick Lachey and Vanessa host to
Who's Vanessa?
his wife, Vanessa Lachey.
I don't know her.
Anyway,
Okay.
the premise, for some reason I can't think of the name of it, but the premise is it's couples who have been together for 2 years. Is it called The Ultimatum? I think that's what it's called. They've been together for like 2 years, but one's ready to get married and the other one isn't.
Oh.
So they bring like
television pressure on.
They bring like 10 couples together and they basically swap like significant others, and they live together for like 3 weeks, and then they come back and live with their original significant others, and then by the end of the show you either have to propose or not.
So did people cheat on each other? There had to have been.
Yeah, I'm gonna let
3
you watch
weeks?
it.
I'm not going to watch it.
It's pretty wild.
If people are like already not sure if they want to get married, and they're like, "Oh, you're going to put me with a hot new person for,"
well, that's the thing.
If it takes you 2 years to decide whether or not you want to marry someone, you're not with the right person.
I'm not going to put a box on anybody, but at the same time,
It shouldn't take you that long to decide if you want to or not. I'm not saying, some people, they take a little longer to save up for a ring or to save up for the wedding. But if you're in this for 2 years and you don't know if this is the person you want to spend the rest of your life with, you're probably not with the right person.
I would say it's even more so a problem if you're going between 2 people. Like if I'm just an option, buddy, you can go home for all I care. You know what I mean?
Are there people that are between multiple?
They'll
Just in
live
general,
with they'll live
probably.
with someone else. I'm talking on this show. They'll live with
Yeah.
someone else for 3 weeks, and then they'll come back.
what
to their,
if they find their actual true love?
And it's
From
the
the
person that they
3 week
swapped
people.
with.
Hey, there we go. Speaking of, this is a different thing, but I don't know if you saw.
my wedding's 100 days away.
Okay, well, that's not what I was going to say.
100 days.
We were going to. We haven't watched season 2 of Love on the Spectrum yet.
Oh, it's great. I've already watched it.
There's a U.S. version now on
Is there?
Netflix.
We
yeah,
found out, like,
it just
last
It just
night.
came out this week.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
I know.
Is it called
I'm
Love
so
on the
excited.
It's called Love on the Spectrum U.S.
Oh well, I'm watching.
I'm
that
so
tonight.
excited.
Yeah. That show's like the Australian
so
version is
good.
so good.
Yeah.
I would almost cancel Netflix, but like that show was great, and I haven't watched the new one yet.
Stranger Things season 4 is on too.
I haven't watched any.
I've had to watch through season 3 again because I couldn't quite remember what all had happened. But
something with waffles.
yeah, there's somebody likes waffles.
Yeah, I like waffles.
Yeah.
We have waffles in our freezer.
So
I've
yeah.
got cereal waffle too.
Anyway, yeah, we'll see how all this new challenge stuff works out, and we'll go from there. We're gonna cover the U.S. version. I would say almost for sure we're not gonna cover the foreign ones unless they become very available and it's only like a 5 episode run or something like that. We might try to watch them all, like say, hey, watch it on your free time, and then we might do like one big podcast for each one. Like say, hey, this is what we thought of the UK season or whatever. That might be Patreon. I don't know. We haven't discussed all that yet because we don't know their plans on when they're releasing them. So that means if that's July, that's going to run July at least until the early September, I would assume. If you're doing
At least until your wedding, Jay.
8 to 10 episodes, right?
Who knows?
And then around that time should be about when we get a new real season because they're filming it right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, but then when are they going to do the World Champions thing? I can't figure out what they're doing.
You're worrying yourself too much about this.
Yeah.
Just let
You
it
are.
unfold. You
You
do
are.
this. You worry yourself too much about it, and you get kind of frantic about
I'm
it.
not frantic. It's just trying to figure out the.
You and I are just like,
Spastastic.
you and I are just like, we'll just wait and see.
We'll find out.
Ain't no-
We'll find out when we find out.
Yeah, because you know what? I'm the one that cares about this show and the continuation of it. Yeah. There we go. Neither one.
We'll find out when we find out. It'll be okay.
Well,
I'm not stressing it. I mean,
Why?
yeah.
I had to get
What's
some
the
water.
point?
Why stress?
Yeah.
I'm not stressed.
Hey, there's a song.
I'm probably out of the
there's-
three of
there's-
us. I'm probably the least stressed out of all of us, and you guys both know that.
There's that one song, "Don't Worry, Be Happy."
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good song.
Hey, there's that one song, "Man, I Feel Like a Woman." You know that one?
I do.
Yeah, that makes me want to kick down doors.
Yeah, anyway, episode 5 starts off, Jordyn and Beth come back, and they're the winners, and he yells that Mom and Dad are home. I couldn't imagine if those are your actual parents. You're like, hey, my dad's real cool and overcomes the world. And like, my mom's the worst.
Like the worst person ever.
Yeah.
What if he'd have said, "Mommy and Daddy are home"?
That's something you would say.
It would be.
Yeah.
Every time I walk in the door with Razor,
It
my
makes
dog,
my skin crawl when I hear it.
or like when y'all have watched him, right? I come to pick him
Yeah.
up. First thing I'll say is like, "Daddy's home."
No, you do if we play video games and you're like,
How do I do it? I don't know how to do
I'm
it.
trying to think of like the phrase you say. I don't know what, because I don't know what you say, but you call yourself daddy to him when it's just you two around. And you're like, you want to come sit with daddy?
Yeah, you do.
I do.
You do that.
I say, "You want to come sit with your daddy?"
Yeah. You're going to go to jail.
And he does. He comes
Yeah.
and sits with his daddy.
And you wonder why he's like the most anxious dog in the world.
Yeah, that's probably got a lot to do with it.
But you know what? He's the sweetest dog in the world. You gotta give me that.
I don't
He's-
know. You've seen my
He's the
little
most
Winston.
well behaved. Well behaved.
He's too nervous to do anything. He'd be like, oh, I'd rather die than hurt your feelings.
He's scared of Amanda's dishwasher.
Probably. Yeah.
She'll crank
can
it
see
on,
that.
and he literally because she's got floors like this. What do you call this?
Wood?
Hardwood. That's hardwood, Jake.
I'm not a realtor, so.
You don't have to be a realtor to know that's hardwood.
And when she starts it, he's
Like in a cartoon where
He's
he's
trying to run, but he's running in place. Like his feet, he can't get a grip up
Yeah.
under him, and so he does it every
Winston
time.
does that in the kitchen on the tile. I love it.
It's funny.
Hey, speaking of dishwashers, yes,
What?
said that there's villains in the house who want to mess things up. The dishwasher is Razor's villain
that-
in the house that's here to mess
What a
his
That,
life up.
stretch.
yeah, I was going.
Man,
That's a stretch.
That
there,
was like
man.
an A
That's,
to H.
I'll give
It's
you-
I don't
like
care.
A to B, maybe A to C.
I'll give you props for not being stressed out, unlike Zach over here. But that right there was a stretch.
It's fine. I don't care.
Kayla is talking to Sylvia, and I don't remember who else. She's saying
Veronica.
she thinks sabotaging Beth is a waste because she doesn't really consider Beth a threat anyway.
Ronnie kind of chimed in on this little conversation. Not much, but she was there. And at this point, I had the question, is she part of the alliance with Kayla, Sylvia, and Veronica?
Yes, it's been very clear. They've showed everyone who's in that alliance multiple times.
Well, I didn't see her as part of it.
They literally said treehouse and then showed everyone's picture.
Well, I didn't see that.
Yeah, and Derek's like it's all that room. It's everyone who's in that room, and she's in that room.
I knew that she was in the room, but I didn't think she was an active part of the alliance.
Yeah, it's everyone in that. There was like 7 members in it.
I guess just because I haven't seen her do anything with them.
I mean, she is kind of an outlier on it, just because she's not doesn't have much history with these people. But
Well, she doesn't have any history with these people. She didn't know any of them.
she might with Veronica. I don't know when their seasons. Like I don't know if they overlapped at all. Obviously not with Kayla and Sylvia, but she might with Derek again. I don't remember when it all started. But Wes is talking to, I didn't write down who, but he said, we're not crying wolf when it comes to Jordyn. Like Jordyn is a wolf.
He's talking to Mark and Brad.
Yeah.
He wants to fill the Darrell
And Derek.
role.
Yeah.
That's who it
Wes.
was. Yeah.
Wes is in there.
Yeah. Well, I said Wes was the one talking.
Oh, okay. I thought you said Derek.
I have
It's
not said
Wes,
Derek
Brad,
at all.
You
Mark.
said Derek.
You said
Wes,
Derek. Yeah.
Brad,
Oh my God.
Mark,
It's just more
and
proof.
Derek.
It's just more proof.
I was like, I have not said Derek at all yet. And I was like, I said Wes is talking about Jordyn. And you're like, no, you said Derek. I honestly forgot Derek was even in the room. I thought it was Mark and Brad, but I forgot Derek was there as well.
Derek was just kind of there. Well, he opened up that little scene with, guys, what the F word did we see last night?
Yeah, great non sequitur.
But it was in reference to
Well, I know
the
it is a reference
elimination,
to.
and that's what got the conversation started on Jordyn.
Again, it was like Derek was like, "How can I for sure be in this scene? Like, I gotta start the conversation."
I feel like he does that sometimes.
Yeah. The thing is, Jordyn is maybe the number one threat in the house to anyone there. I mean, you saw him outlast Darrell last week. You've also seen. We were talking about him beating Theo in a hammer elimination, and then one of our patrons in our Slack group jumped in and was like, "No, he beat Zach." And I was like, okay, I guess maybe we got confused. Turns out he's beat 2 people in hammer eliminations. One, which they showed in this episode, not him doing it, but where John A. and
Zach.
Yeah, but who did John A. go against? Sarah, that's who it was. Yeah, lost to Sarah and Jordyn in Battle of the Exes, and it was Jordyn shouldn't have won that. We didn't even talk about that elimination. Zach should have won that all day long.
I totally forgot about that one.
And I mean, it's just incredible what he can do.
He's amazing.
So we find out that group kind of considers MJ and Jordyn their targets going forward, just because they're kind of the outliers of that group, and also. All three are like two of them are the past two winners from the last two All-Star seasons, and then Jordyn is probably the biggest threat,
front runner to be the next winner.
Yeah, and so we go to the daily, and that's when TJ announces, "Hey, we're halfway through. We're going to shake things up." And I was like, "Oh man," I was like, "Is he going to say, hey, now you're going to be in teams of two or what?" And I was like, "Don't do anything like that."
That's a main show trope.
I know, and that's awful because like we've always said you're doing too much. I don't mind this change.
I love this change.
I like it.
Because I kept thinking, like, you can't keep putting 6 people
exactly,
in the authority.
Because then you're going to run out of people to throw in.
Yeah.
No, I like this change because it keeps the spirit of what you've already done and just makes it a little bit more hardcore.
And then the fact that whoever gets chosen by the authority can pick whoever they want to go against. Like, now there's even deeper thinking.
Yeah,
to what you have to do, what you can do if you're the authority.
Well, and there's no. So like taking the last elimination when like Darrell and Beth DQ'd, that doesn't really matter anymore. Like it doesn't. You just have to. It's only the winner. Which I do like the person coming in last place having a consequence to go in, but it's whatever. They made this choice. I don't mind it going forward because I like the fact that whoever's picks whoever they want other than the two people at the arena. Like, you don't know beforehand. So everyone's on edge. Everyone's kind of stressed. The daily is called Sidetracked, and basically it's a relay race with ring toss built in. Mm-hmm. And they didn't say it, I don't think, but it looks like you had to run one way and then run back the other, but you could do it in whatever order you want, because like half of them would choose the hills first and then run flat, and the other half ran flat first and then chose the hills. I think it's just you had to do.
I hate challenges like this. I hate the dailies. Like we saw it. I think it was Spies, Lies, and Allies, where you had to load like these. I don't know what they referred them to, but you had to load 3 things into each person's deal, and basically you're just like,
yeah, I
hate stuff like this, like, because it basically removes most of the people except for 2 or 3 from even winning the thing, because they just pile up, and it's just
they've done it a few times. They did it on not even Spies, but Double Agents as well, where it's like, hey, you put an X or you put a ball on this person's thing, and you're just trying to get out the good competitors first, and then it's just like, hey, all of our friends are gonna. You
basically as a male unit decide this person's gonna win.
Mark, I mean, that's what happens,
and it's just it's not fun. Like it's not fun. It removes any competitiveness from it.
I don't mind the way that the players use the situation because I think it's smart for them. But it is a flaw on the overall like layout of the game.
Remove those. Those kinds of dailies. Just play dodgeball or something.
Like, they did do that on some other seasons.
I think that would be a lot of fun. Yeah. Just have a dodgeball daily.
It was on like season. It was like the Inferno 1 or something like that, which was like the earliest season. It was like season 12 on Netflix. The preview for it, if you like hovered over it, was them playing dodgeball on a big raft, like in the water, and it was like Abe and the Miz and Derek and like all these people from back then, and like that was the daily, was like to play dodgeball and not lose.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I do think that these, because again, if you have any sort of an alliance, you're just going to gang up and then you're going to be the last ones there.
It's stupid. I hate
so the sabotage is just one ring already placed on whoever you pick. Kayla picks Beth. Brad picks MJ again, and then all of the guys just pick Mark to win, except Brad apparently, because he has a problem with that throughout the episode. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I was keeping track of who finished in what order, for the daily, and then ultimately it didn't even matter because I didn't realize at this point that the last place person wasn't going in.
Yeah.
So Jordyn did try to blow up their plan though, because he's like, oh, if screw you guys, I'm gonna go after Mark and whoever else. But again, when you have that many numbers, like it's really hard.
It might have worked because MJ decided to go against Brad because that they've been at audience for a few days.
Brad's has been dominating these days.
But Brad has been putting all of his sabotages on MJ, and MJ's just like,
which you can thank Kendall for that, probably.
Yeah, he can.
Yeah.
And so Jordyn sees that this big guy alliance is going after, the other guys. And so Jordan's like, I'm going to join MJ and go after Brad.
Yeah.
If Yes had not gone rogue and gone after Wes because he's mad at him for existing for whatever reason, they might have been able to pull it off.
I think Yes's big flaw in this season is he got too like stuck in the I've got to prove that I'm a different type of player than Wes. And
it almost came off as like a little self-righteousness.
It was weird because we didn't see this at all last time.
He could do that in season 1 because there wasn't a lot of,
he flew under the radar kind of.
He flew under the radar, and there wasn't the. I mean, do you really remember much of an alliance out of anyone in season 1?
Not really.
That's what I'm saying. So he could do
no.
He could just do his own thing, and but now you can't do that in this house.
Well, it's just weird that he from my perspective, he went after Wes, and I'm not defending Wes because Wes would absolutely make a move whenever he feels like I need to make a move. But when Yes had that sit down with him, it was like episode 2, and Wes had not double crossed anybody or gone after, made any. In fact, in the first Authority, Wes is like, we want to make people not even remember what happened here. You don't want to cause any waves.
Yeah.
And I was like, why is Yes grandstanding on I have to prove that Wes is playing this wrong and I'm gonna do it right.
And he keeps calling him a cheater and shady.
It was just weird. It was like when somebody gets hyper. It's like if you had a cat with laser pointer, and that laser was just Wes, and that's all Yes could focus on, and he just lost the big picture. Mm-hmm. And
it became less about winning $500,000 and more about just getting Wes out of the game.
Yeah, it was more about proving a point than the ultimate
anything
goal
else.
of winning. Yeah. And so. Anyway, Mark wins, they planned. Again, he wasn't even. That's the thing. He wasn't even taking it serious. He was taking water breaks. He was barely moving. He didn't care. And so the girls around. Beth is out first, obviously, but then, it kind of comes down to the end, and it's Veronica and Sylvia, and Sylvia, wins again. She's outperformed what I think any of us thought so far.
Listen, Sylvia had a little confessional right before the women's heat started, and she said, she's only because Beth was apparently giving her a funny eye, and Sylvia said she's only scared of one woman whose name is Yvonne, and that is her mama.
She's 5'1".
And she's 5'1". And
let me say,
we've had run-ins with Yvonne, and I'd be scared
from Final Reckoning.
I'd be scared of her too. Also, I'm kind of scared of my own mama.
Because the thing is,
I don't know who isn't.
I thought you were gonna say I don't know who she is. Talking about your own mom.
No.
I used to call my mom the Intimidator.
My mama's a spitfire, and she's got a short fuse. But that's the Filipino in her. My grandmother has an even shorter fuse.
And she's an even shorter person.
She is an even shorter person. She's shorter than 5'1".
Oh, for sure.
She's 4'8".
Yeah. So we do get a confessional in the middle of all the girls thing, and Beth calls John A cheater in so many ways. And at the time, I was like, what is she even talking? Johnny's not cheating in this and hasn't cheated in this. And I was like, I think she's alluding to the whole, because we saw in the preview for the next, it was like, oh, she's cheating on whatever. We'll get to that when the night out stuff comes. But the Authority, like we said, picks the 2 players, and then those 2 get to choose whoever they want. That's not the Authority. So Brad starts kind of freaking out because he's like, well, now I'm in a vulnerable position because all these people made a choice that Mark was going to win. Mm-hmm. And who knows who would pick me, you know, if they feel like if MJ goes in, he may pick me.
And I think Brad may have been a little more upset, or maybe it was just the cherry on top about this whole situation, like Mark winning and now, you know, he's on the chopping block, because throughout the entire men's heat of the daily, Mark was walking, taking water breaks, just going very willy-nilly about it, because he knew in his mind that he was safe no matter what. Which, I mean, I think it would have been funny if Brad had gone after Mark a little bit sooner in the daily and gotten him out.
Yeah, but there's no reason to. Like, you gotta follow through on what's happening, because otherwise you kind of look like a rogue agent, like going against what everyone decided.
I know.
If he would have beat him at the end, yeah. Sure.
I think it was just some salt in the wound, seeing how Mark was in the daily.
Well,
I mean, he no sense of urgency whatsoever.
No, because again, they already, like Jake said, it doesn't matter. Like, you already can predetermine if you've got the numbers for it. Yeah, Kayla also thinks she might be picked if Beth is thrown in, because for some reason Beth is kind of fixated on Kayla as well. Because she gave her the sabotage and because she could have given birth to her, I guess. Mm-hmm. You know, that's good job. The night out, it's the same little club it seems like they've gone to every time. The challenge are kind of notorious for that, mostly going to the same place over and over. But I did notice before even Yes said it in the confessional, I was like, one, it doesn't look like anyone else is there. It looks like they got there before, like, the place opened. Like, that they were like, we open at 7 and you're here at 5:15.
Yeah. And
it looked like people were maybe just, like, setting up, but he's like, nobody's dancing. There's a DJ here, but nobody wants to do that. Everyone's politicking. Everyone's trying to figure out. They're kind of on edge because the game changed or whatever. I didn't see a dog with Kellyanne this time.
Yeah.
Well,
the dog got there so early.
The dog doesn't show up until the party starts.
Yeah, those dogs know.
They weren't open yet.
Dogs can kind of know times. There's like stories of in like Japan where like dogs would like meet their owners at like the train station, like every day, like after work, and then the owner died, and then the dog kept showing up every day at the same time to meet the owner after work, and so they made a statue for the dog outside the train station.
Well, that's incredibly sad.
Yeah,
that is. Why would you tell me that?
It's a good story. It's a good story. It's
for how much I've cried the last few days. Why would you tell me that? Now I'm going to go throw up.
Good. I love it when you throw up.
Oh god.
MJ is talking to Mark, and he said he feels like he has to say that he's going to go after Brad because he's kind of stuck, and he feels like that's his power move is to say, I'm going to go after someone you're really close with. And then Beth comes in to meet with Sylvia and Mark, and she whispers, she's like, John A's having an affair with MJ on her husband. And
she says that she's going to pick John A if she gets voted in.
Yeah.
Because she's a cheater and she cheats in many different areas, and Mark and Sylvia are like, what? And she's like, she's having an affair with MJ.
Yeah, but whispered it. Very much whispered it. And then John A is like, I heard my name, came over there. And then Beth would not say that again. Yeah. She did not say that to John A's face. And that, to me, definitely seems more so of a kind of made up thing. I don't know one way. I mean, they both came out. I've from all the seasons I've seen of this show, I've never seen someone come out and both say, I'm not having an affair. I think that's a first that we had on this episode, but the fact that Beth wouldn't say it to John A's face makes me think that it's something that she kind of made up to try to like swing people. I don't know. Maybe not.
Didn't we talk about Beth last episode? We talked about her real world homecoming reunion.
Yes.
And she had falsely accused someone
of sexual assault.
Not
to her, but to someone else in the room.
She said someone else had
one of her roommates on the show
had been a sexual assaulter.
Yeah.
And it came out that it was not true, and she just made it
Again,
up.
this is all, from my recollection of seeing the scenes of the homecoming thing. I haven't watched. But
if she will lie about somebody sexually assaulting, that kind of makes me feel like she's lying about John A. having an affair.
Yeah.
Which could ruin John A.'s marriage and home life and children.
Not even just that, but, I mean, Beth's the oldest person here. And it's like... Why are you still doing this?
Beth has a husband and 2 children at home that are watching
But she's
this.
got her tenderoni on the show.
How would she feel if she were in John A.'s place and someone was running around saying, "Oh, Beth is having an affair"?
I think if you said that, anyone on the show would be like, "Not with anybody here."
So I think I just don't believe it's true at all. I always, in my own personal life, and I always recommend to other people, consider the source.
I thought you were going to say, don't cheat on each other.
Well, don't cheat on each other. But consider the source. Who you getting this information from? And I think what probably happened, and I'm not justifying her saying it, but I think what she probably did was, because we've seen it, it seems as if MJ and John A. do spend a lot of time together.
And she
on the
braids
show.
his hair a lot.
And not like even like separately from the house, they're just together all the time. And so, knowing how Beth's brain seems to operate, she's probably like, "Oh, they're having an affair. They have to be."
Yeah, I saw Janae touch his head.
Which, by the way, her and MJ both pronounced her name wrong.
He says Jeanne.
Yeah, it's not French.
It might be.
It's like people with John Morant. There's a couple of
Jean Morant.
Doris Burke does it.
Yeah.
It drives me, and I hate that because she's great. Like
she does every single time. She always says
she's as good as anyone in the industry. And Jean Morant, he's not French.
Yeah,
it's Ja. It's just the letter Ja. Like you would say Jake. It's not Jake, right?
It's
about to be.
It's Demetrius Jamel. Like it's not Jamel.
That could be French too.
Yeah, but she did call her Janae, and she's like, first of all, it's John A. And
Sylvia and Mark were like, "Oh."
Yeah. And so
I don't know.
I do think you consider the source.
I have never been a fan of Beth, but
to be fair, you had a real limited experience of her, other than when we've rewatched a couple of these seasons. I always couldn't stand Beth.
Yeah, I had limited exposure to Beth, but the more I've seen her, the less I've liked her. So I've never been a fan of Beth. But to blatantly fabricate an affair between 2 people in a house to potentially destroy one of those people's marriages, children, and home life outside of this is a game for money. But to do that and potentially just ruin that person's life, that's as low down and sorry and pathetic as you can get. Like I could cuss at how ugly of a performance Beth put on.
I'm not going to give her that much credit. I don't believe it was blatant. I believe she legitimately believed.
She's dumb.
I down like because that's a real thing, right? Like I think in her head she believes it. We had a friend like that would lie.
Oh yeah.
And legitimately believed the stuff that came out of his mouth. He's not like it wasn't this person trying to.
They're not diabolical. They're just stupid.
Yeah.
I don't know that Beth is not diabolical. I think that she is.
I don't believe that.
I think
like,
there's a middle ground. I think honestly, she saw them hanging out together,
and she legitimately
she's
believed.
Like,
yeah.
It's like
I don't think for one second.
But it's one thing to think it, but it's another thing to
agreed.
go
She
behind that
crossed the
person's
line.
back and say it on television to other people in their house. Not saying I think they might be, but saying they are.
Oh yeah, it was a definitive statement.
That is diabolical, and that is blatant, and that is on purpose.
Yeah, she didn't say like, "Oh, I think they might be hooking up." Or
that's the thing. She did.
Like, they are.
She did that on
affair.
purpose.
Well, she said it on purpose, but I don't think. I think it was because she legitimately believed it, not because she was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna get them."
I think she kind of lives in the gray.
And I'm
area.
not taking up. That's not me taking up for Beth. That's like
I think she's
this
probably
is just how our
somewhere
brains
in
wired.
between the gray area of both of those opinions because I think she said it to try to cause a rift in everything. And I think that she just jumped to conclusions from seeing them hang out together.
Well, jumping to conclusions and trying to cause a rift in the house like that is disgusting to me. It's disgusting to me.
We're not arguing with you.
I'm not going to let you argue with me.
Well, we weren't. Neither one of us were trying.
Like, what a pathetic person.
Yeah. Oh, that's been Beth's whole life story on
I
television.
hope she never comes back.
I like. Here's the thing. Like in All Stars 1, I think all of us generally left with this is probably the most positive Beth season we've ever seen. Because she's been away from so long. It's like, oh, she's maybe grown up. She kind of seems to be, just part of the group, not making herself this, like, weird outlier that's, like, the Wicked Witch going, whatever. And then she comes back in this one, and right away she's like, screw you, I'm not doing it. And then she's like, the Beth, the whatever's back.
What a sorry example for her children that she's setting.
Her children are probably 37 at this point.
No, she's shown she had a FaceTime thing the last season she was on with her husband and her kids, and they're like middle school age.
Well, regardless, like
I hope her kids don't turn out like her.
I thought you were gonna say you hope her kids don't like her anymore.
That or I hope they never watch any of this.
I just think like after this episode, she's got to never be called back, right? I mean, after the showing on this season,
was she on?
1.5.
1.5, and she quit two different times.
She quit the daily and then quit the elimination, and also in the Gauntlet 2, which we watched, she quit.
She quit in the same sort of way. It was like the house is against. She's like, you know what?
I'm
you
just
guys
not
going to
cheating, and so I got to go. She tries to take this like moral high ground.
She doesn't know what a moral high ground is.
I know.
She has no idea what that is.
In her mind, she's like, everyone is beneath me and is acting deplorable. I've got to go out on a high note. And it's like, good God, like you're like revisionist history. Like you are seeing yourself through like rose-tinted glasses on everything.
But that's the thing. When she quit the elimination, I think it was Kayla that was like, she took somebody's spot.
Yeah, she said, Kayla, well, I mean, we're not even there yet, but she's like, why steal the opportunity from someone else? And I was like, yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
And I was like, that's my number one gripe with people that come on. That was my gripe with Melinda. I was like, if you're not healed, like, don't come back.
That's a little different. I think there was general hope in her mind.
I agree they're different, but if you're at the point where you're still having to wrap your ankle every day and you can't move around
and you're still
in
pain,
yeah.
Also, if you're going to pay me a pretty penny, I ain't gonna turn it down.
I just that is a big gripe with me. Is
Chandler Parsons? He ain't well right, but if you're going to pay me millions of dollars,
well, yeah,
I'll take it.
Yeah, great example.
So if you're going to get mad at anybody, get mad at the casting people.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
I'm there.
No.
I'm there.
I ain't going to get mad at the people that get casted because take the check. Get paid. Get signed for the year then.
Who is that about?
Troy, was it Murphy? Troy Williams?
Not
you remember Troy Williams?
Yeah, Troy Williams.
Troy Daniels?
No.
There was a Troy Daniels who was on the. There was Troy Williams who made the preseason thing. They kept him over Jordan Adams. Mm-hmm. We cut Jordan Adams, who was drafted 2 years earlier, because he couldn't stay on the court. And then, like 20 days into the season, we traded Troy Williams, and then he hasn't really played in the NBA since. So, anyway, John A. again straight up denies having an affair to. Straight onto the camera. MJ does the exact same thing. And the next morning, Brad and Mark wake Wes up in a very secretive way. Trying not to wake anybody else up. And when they get into that room, the little workout room, Wes and Mark look like they're half dead still.
Yeah.
Brad may have been up for 3 hours. I don't know. But he seemed okay, but the other two were out of it.
Yeah, if you just looked at Brad, you'd think, oh, this is probably 9 a.m.
I feel like it was 5:30.
But if you look at Wes and Mark, it looks like it was 4 a.m.
Yeah, and they got home at 3. And so we found out Brad lost his job during COVID. And so he's like, I got to stop playing. He's like, I got to play for me. It's for money.
I thought Brad was a teacher.
Teachers lost their jobs probably. Yeah. So Brad and Wes and Mark have a conversation, and I guess Brad just feels like he was kind of on the outside looking in, and he was sticking his neck out for Wes, but didn't really feel like Wes was doing the same. And so Wes is just like, all right, if I got to do something to prove, he's like, put me in. He's like, put me in the elimination. He's like, I'll do it. He's like, it's fine.
What a ballsy move.
Which is very against the grain for Wes.
Well, he says later, that's all he lives for is to do the exact opposite of what you think he's going to do. Mm-hmm. And so we get to the authority, and basically Mark says he just wants to leave the least amount of blood as possible. And obviously Wes has volunteered himself, so Sylvia's like, perfect. And then they talk about Beth. They're afraid Beth might go after Kayla. And, if it's a weight-based thing like the last one, who knows? Mm-hmm. And turns out they're like, John A. will pick Beth because of their riff that they just had. And
John A. nominated
well,
herself?
we didn't know that at the time. They show a flashback from the night before, and John A.'s like, just put me in. And Sylvia's like, there is always a chance she might pick someone else, including someone in our alliance, but, you got to roll with what you got. And so I did not expect two seemingly unnamed people who shouldn't have even been discussed to throw themselves in. So we get to the arena, and TJ is like, all right, looks like everybody came to play except for Mark and Sylvia. And so you guys picked you picked John A. and Wes. And like, John A., who you picking? And she's like, Beth. And Beth like shifts her hips around like she's like, ugh. And I was like, what was coming. Like, come on. And then Wes picks who he says is the worst judge of character in the room or in the world. I don't know.
In the house.
And he picks Yes. And
Jordyn's wearing a cowboy hat.
Of course he is.
He's worn it every episode.
Yeah, he wears it. He wears it every night out.
It's a good look for him.
He
looks good in a cowboy hat.
When we were in Utah,
we looked at real.
You guys wore real. You wore like what, $4,000 or $5,000 hat?
Oh, okay. I think you're about 10 times too high on that one.
Okay.
They're about $400.
Okay, $400 or $500.
I think the higher end ones were like $700-800.
Yeah, if you got like certain accessories on it, but the ones like I really tried on and that they like hand sculpt on you to fit.
They're beaver skin.
Or you could go rabbit or what, and they were about $450. And I mean, when we found out the price, I was like, well, I'm not doing this. I was like, but I do want to try it on. And then we went to some other places and tried on some like $70-80 ones. Yeah. The difference in quality is very apparent. Like, it is $450. If you're going to be outside a lot, and especially if you're going to ride a horse, something, I get it.
It would keep you warm
and keep you away from the rain. I don't know if it's to keep. I don't think they're to keep you warm.
Some of those actually get ruined in the rain.
Do they?
Yep. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know cowboys are out in the rain. Cowboys don't run away from the rain. What are you guys talking about?
I mean, you can't.
I know a beaver skin would not for sure because beavers are made to be in water. It beads off of them.
I'm saying some do get ruined in the rain.
Yeah, it could.
There's a whole episode of Sanford and Son.
Maybe cowboy technology's changed a little bit since then. You know what? If you would have told me that there was an episode of Sanford and Son about 100, probably 500 different subjects, I don't think cowboy hats would have been on it.
Well, he got a cowboy hat for his birthday.
Oh,
and there was a segment of the show to where it started raining, and he couldn't wear his hat in the rain
because it'd ruin it.
They also ate Chinese that episode.
That was just writers just like throwing darts at a wall of ideas. Mm-hmm. And like, all right, Chinese food, cowboy hats, birthday,
rain.
Here we go. Write something about it.
Sanford and Son is one of the most underrated shows. Yeah,
he has lots of heart attacks.
Yeah, it's funny. I like that show.
It's funny to have heart attacks.
This is an elimination called Knockoff. I don't think we've seen this one before. I don't even know if we've seen this variation before. We've seen ones where it's like you have to hit all the things on your side and the other person can like turn them off or push them out or whatever. But this isn't that. You're just trying to knock the other person off. Almost like Wipeout-esque or MXC, like Most Extreme Elimination Challenge.
I tell you what, Wipeout is one of my favorite shows.
I don't. The only thing I don't like. Well, not the only thing. I don't like Wipeout because one, I don't like the two hosts that they had on it because they're not funny. One of them is a guy from ESPN who is definitely not a comedy guy, and the other guy is a comedian who I forgot his name, but he's not that funny.
But
the new one though,
yeah, John Cena.
It's John Cena and Nicole Byer.
Yeah,
and that's a much better combo.
That's a good hosting pair.
But it's the same thing every time, and I that's why did you ever watch MXC?
Mm-hmm.
Much better show because you just change up what you're doing, and also it's a Japanese show that they dubbed over, and it's like, oh, today's teams are like the Diarrhea Bandits or what, and it's not what it was at all in the original one.
I do love that show too. They're both wonderful. They're so good and dumb.
The girls' round starts, and again, they're just kind of feeling it out. I don't even think we got like an elapsed time thing. We get that with the guys one. I don't know. I genuinely don't know what happened, but Beth heard MJ telling Janae where to push, and she just decided she's going to quit, which, again, I think she knew she was going to lose and just decides to, you know what, I'm going to take the high ground, and you know what, these guys are just cheating, and I'm not going to be a part of this, and she quits.
Very in line with her character.
100%.
Yes.
So, I've seen her do this exact thing before,
yeah,
actually.
15 plus years ago. Mm-hmm. Nothing's changed.
She came on this season a quarter of the way through, quits the first daily, and now quits in the middle of an elimination.
To have the balls to quit the first daily as you show up as someone's replacement is insane to me. Even if it's the thing you're the most scared of, I feel like I would be I can't not participate because I just got the chance of a lifetime to win $500,000. And I wasn't even cast on the show, and I got lucky, and then quit right away. But you know what? Beth's in her own world, so Beth quits, and I just said, "What a terrible person."
I hope she never comes back ever.
Yeah, I agree. And that's when Kayla said, "Why would you steal an opportunity from someone else?" And so then the guys get up there.
Did you catch what Yes said right before they started? He said he's here to nurture the flame of fairness and integrity.
Yeah, there was a one-on-one thing, and TJ's like, okay, how do you really feel?
Yeah. But that line is what really made me feel like he's leaning towards the more self-righteous.
Well, Wes looks at him, he's like, even TJ knows you're full of
crap.
He's like, yeah, it's like, what are you doing? And it did feel like he maybe was playing into it somewhat now, because it's like, oh, we already have this established, we're not the same person, type thing. But very different strategies. And if you would have told me one person in this elimination was going to be talking the entire time,
cussing the entire time,
would not have picked Yes to be the one. I would have said, oh, Yes is going to remain quiet and just try to ride it out. Nope, exact opposite, and Wes was the one that didn't say a word the entire elimination.
Wes was silent.
Based off what we knew of him from the first season of All Stars, this overall was a pretty weird Yes season.
Yes.
Yeah, kind of like we had with Kendall.
Yes. Yeah. Maybe this season is like Bizarro World or something. It is strange what happened. Now, the weird thing, though, is then you have Beth, who is exactly like what you would expect. And so, I don't know, Wes... And he just was stone faced and I'm not gonna waste energy. I'm not going to try to get in his head. I'm just gonna ride it out and be smart. And Yes was slamming and wasting all kinds of energy. And I think Veronica yelled at him you gotta calm down. You're gonna wear yourself out.
Yeah, she told him to pace himself or something. Wes looked to me like a machine. He wasn't human for a second there. And then
there are lots of different types of machines. What type of machine do you think Wes is?
Those machines that make the metal utility poles?
No.
Well, those. Also a sewing machine.
Two very different things, and I don't even know what the first one really is.
Okay. And then it almost seemed like Yes watched what Jordyn did in the last elimination where he talked constant smack
Yeah.
and got in Darrell's head and then won. So maybe Yes is like,
do
that's
think-
what I need
do
to
think
do.
That was a strategy maybe Yes was trying to do. But in all fairness to Yes, who seems like a really great guy and also you don't want to go against him in a final, you're not Jordyn. And this is Yes's first elimination ever from what I remember, but that he did not go into any on his early season.
Or on All-Stars.
And he didn't go. He flew under the radar on All-Stars 1. And so you don't have the pedigree to pull a Jordyn in that. And it's just not the same.
Also, it's a very different elimination, whereas last week's elimination, there's only one place you could be in that barrel. And in this elimination, Wes has to know where Yes is standing so he knows where to hit those pillars, I guess.
I don't know.
But the louder and the more Yes
you know where he's at.
talked smack, that told Wes exactly where he was standing.
That's why Wes was quiet.
He was giving his own position away.
It did seem like the longer that this went on, the more the set kind of fell apart. I don't know if you noticed, like, the cushions were all at like a 90-degree angle, and then towards the end they were like barely hanging on. I don't know. I honestly was like, and I think some of the cast said it. They're like, this is gonna last all night long. They're like, please, Wes, just knock him off so we can go home. And I mean, he ultimately did. And I think more than anything, he just got too worn out, and he just got hit in the chest and just lost it. So Yes is now officially 1-0 in finals and 0-1 in eliminations.
That's right.
And so also,
what a record!
Does anybody know why Nehemiah kept yelling "juicy fruit"?
No idea.
I didn't even hear that.
He said it multiple times.
No explanation of it either.
He was like, Wes would like reach for one and he'd hit and he'd be like, "Juicy fruit." And
maybe it was code.
Maybe, but
because the thing is, if you say go left, that's telling Yes to go right.
Okay, but if you say juicy fruit and then you get hit in the face every time someone says juicy fruit, then you would know to move as soon as he yells it.
Well, Yes is too busy talking corny smack to pay attention to what Nehemiah's doing.
Corny smack?
Yeah. He's not good at talking smack. It was real corny stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the guy's an architect. Like, it's not. He's not.
And he wears a fedora.
Yeah. Again, I like him. I really do like him.
Mm-hmm.
I would have no problem with him coming back on another season.
Well, as soon as he loses, he comes up and congratulates and compliments Wes, and then shows just really good sportsmanship. And then TJ looks at him and says, "Yes, former All-Stars champion. You're probably my favorite person that's ever been on the show.
Favorite human
that's ever been on the show."
Because he might have had some dogs he liked better, but
okay.
I mean, that's high praise coming from TJ.
Yeah,
that's really high praise. I've never heard him say anything like that.
Yeah, I don't know who that would be, and it is. I don't remember who said it, maybe Sylvia or someone that, like, you know, Yes and Beth are basically the two exact opposite people. Okay, Ronnie, two exact opposite, basically yin and yang, and I was like, you know what, that is a good like comparison of those two. And I would much rather hang out with Yes any day of the week than to have to spend 3 seconds with Beth.
Ever.
And I would propose to you guys. I don't know who your superlatives are. I think it should be a unanimous Beth sucks episode, and she's who gets her head smashed.
Okay.
So any final thoughts on this episode?
No.
Okay, thank you. This is an auditory,
auditorium.
Yeah, so when I point at you and you just shake your head, it doesn't do anything for the listener.
Oh, but they feel my presence and they feel the wind of my head shaking.
It felt like Jake said no, and I said thank you, and then everyone just died. Mm-hmm. And
you can't prove that they didn't.
What? Okay. Who smashed some heads?
This one's gonna shock you.
You going first?
Do you want to go first?
I don't care.
You can go first.
Beth.
Nope.
Because at the end of the day,
I'm gonna strike
Veto.
it.
At the end of the day,
Strike it from the record. I don't need to hear it. At
the end of the day, she is going to practice the hots thing.
No, she's not.
Well, I'm just, you know.
No, she's not, and you know she's
surely
not.
shown she's a person of her word. I think you should get your head smashed in real life by a car.
That's
for saying
fun.
that.
Okay. I put Wes because he volunteered for elimination and
I did-
and chose his opponent, who is like his arch nemesis of the house now, and then sent the guy home.
I will say I did see Wes was on Twitter and stuff talking about, will people please just acknowledge that I am not backstabbing and I keep my word and all this stuff.
I mean, he said that on interviews with us. He's like, I don't go against my word.
I mean, yeah, he's. I mean, he definitely didn't, and he didn't have to put himself in any sort of harm's way, and he chose to. Who smashed some heads? What? I don't know. I don't have a good one for this one. I guess I'm just gonna give it to. I'm not giving it to freaking Beth.
MJ was wearing a crop top.
Was he?
In the elimination.
I thought he was, but I didn't get it a good enough
him.
look. I tried to do a double take, but the camera cut away.
She went. Yeah. I'll give it to Wes. Not just
You don't
because.
have to be so upset about
Well,
it.
because you had already said it, and he won the elimination. But I can't give it to any of the daily winners because it's the daily was just coercion. Not coercion. What's the word I'm looking for?
Collusion.
Collusion.
That is the word I was looking for. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna give it to Wes. So who got their head smashed? Beth.
TJ.
Wrong.
Why?
Because Yes wanted to nurture the flame of fairness and integrity.
I said we should be a unanimous Beth got her head smashed.
You know what, Zach? I've always lived my life going against the grain.
Yeah.
This is in no way a support Beth movement. This is a...
You picked her for the superlative for who smashed some heads.
She's going to work on the Heights thing.
She's not going
No,
to.
she's not. You know she's not.
We're
Y'all
never-
don't know she isn't.
I do know she
yes,
isn't.
we do.
Jake, you know she isn't. You're
You
smiling
should
just a little bit
know
right
better
now.
than anybody that
Because you and
was
Beth are so
full
close.
of crap. I originally had Yes written down because he lost sight of the actual game and zeroed
He
in
did.
on making an enemy of Wes, and ended up even losing the elimination to Wes.
I already told you mine. I'm not saying it again.
Okay.
She's gotten enough talk about on this episode.
1, 2, 3.
Beth.
Beth.
Well, congratulations. I don't know what to tell you.
I do feel like I'm going to have a huge week in fantasy.
My team's in trouble.
You've skipped something.
Oh yeah, I know. We did skip the video game thing because I was excited about my fantasy stuff. Like we've done every week so far. I pick a video game from any time. Hannah's have all been very strange.
You're not going to guess this week's either.
Compared to, I did guess Spyro that one week because I knew that one.
That was week
and
2.
Turns out you'd only played the demo and never played the whole game.
That demo changed my life.
Apparently, because she talked to me about it multiple times in the
Over
past. How
years.
much she loved Spyro.
Over years.
My mic's falling off my desk.
Oh, my God.
The seat
Hold on,
clamp.
everybody.
Well, Jake, you get to do your game first because you did superlatives first.
Well, I'm going with an FPS.
What's that?
Full penetration sex.
Stop! This is a children's podcast. What's wrong with
You're
you?
going to have to learn one day.
I just had to come up with an acronym.
No.
It's a first-person shooter.
Oh, like
Spyro the Dragon.
like Call of Duty,
Like
right?
Call of Duty, but it is not Call of Duty. I'm going with a 007 game.
Mm-hmm.
Some of you may be thinking GoldenEye, but I am not. 007 Not Fire.
Hold on. Wait, did I have that one?
There was Agent Under Fire, and then there was Night Fire.
Yes, I had this game.
That game is awesome.
Okay, I had this game on Xbox, like right after like the Xbox. I don't know what year this come out. Probably 2002, something like that. 2002. So I had this game.
I had it too.
Did you ever beat it?
Yes.
I did not.
Yeah.
I would get to one specific level and could never get past it, and then I would just start over again.
So the campaign is super fun.
Yeah.
But then, like, even if you didn't have anybody to play, like, multiplayer with, you could just generate bots.
Oh, I didn't see. I never
and just play against them. I'd do that for hours. And you could use like this claw mechanic thing, where you could
this snow level
move around like Spider-Man almost.
Yeah.
And it was freaking fun.
This snow level where you snipe people from really
Yes.
far off. Yeah. So I loved this game, but there's a level like probably halfway through, I would guess, and you're in like an office building, and there's security cameras trying to catch you, and you have to sneak around. I could never figure out what the like objective was to get past, and so I would just be like, well, starting from level 1 again, and I would just play it, and I would play those like 4 or 5 levels over and over again. It was really fun.
Really fun.
Yeah.
Super, super fun 007 game.
Yeah, and I don't even know if it's like canon. Like, I don't know if this has anything to do with the movies or anything like that.
I don't think so, but again, Pierce Brosnan I think is the best Bond. So
I'm not going to say one way or the other because I haven't watched all the Daniel Craig ones yet. But yeah, I had that game. I own that one. I think that is a good pick.
it's a good pick.
You're not going to guess this one.
It's clearly not a FPS.
No. It was the first Nintendo Wii Sports.
Did you not do this before already?
This
I
is
think that game sucks.
this is the first Nintendo Wii game I've done.
Okay, I feel like
So I had Wii Sports, the first one, which was bowling, golf, tennis, and boxing.
there's baseball on there too. I think
I didn't have baseball on mine,
I never had a Wii, but I was pretty sure. But maybe not. I don't know.
but I did the bowling was a lot of fun. The golf was fun. I found out that if it wants you to stand up.
Yeah,
And
there's baseball on the first game.
well, I never played baseball on mine.
then you
They got tennis too.
Yeah, she said
I said
tennis.
tennis.
Oh, did you? Well, you've played every sport on there, but baseball, which literally is the first icon on the cover.
Okay, well,
Because
What do you do?
there's boxing, bowling, golf, tennis, and then baseball.
I don't remember baseball. Anyway, bowling was a lot of fun. The golf, you're supposed to stand up and swing like you're actually swinging golf
It's a club.
club.
There it is. I wasn't gonna give it to
But
her.
I found out that you could get really, really good shots by sitting on the couch and like doing like an overhand toss.
Okay.
You could get every now and then you could get strikes like that on bowling too. You wouldn't have to get up and like actually pretend that you're bowling. You could do it from sitting on the couch.
I never had a Wii.
It was okay.
It was okay, and then that's your pick. It was okay, but that's my pick for my at this point top 5 favorite game of
Literally,
all time.
you guys know I didn't have a lot of video games. I don't. It's slim pickings for me, but I really did enjoy it.
I remember when it came out.
The bowling. I tore the bowling up. That was fun.
I had friends in college who had a Wii, and I didn't have one at the time, and so we play that sometimes. But yeah, the novelty would wear off pretty quick for me.
That was the thing. I played it a lot, and then I would get tired of it.
Yeah.
But
Well, you missed 1/5 of the game, which was baseball.
well, what do you do? The little background music, the da 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 da, that plays like as background music in the back of my head a lot.
Yeah.
It's just there.
Because you're certifiably insane.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
You guys don't have music just constantly playing in your mind?
Nope.
I can't
No.
imagine that.
No.
Like I constantly have some kind of music, whether it's like just the bridge of a song or like one line of a chorus, just constantly on repeat.
Is it?
It's like turned
torturous.
really it's like on really, really low volume, but it's always there.
It sounds like
It sounds like you need a lobotomy.
What's that?
Take a drill up your nose.
No,
Hit your
gross.
frontal
No way.
cortex.
I'm fine. I don't mind it.
It's all you know.
I never have silence.
Well, yeah, which is great. Again, I never had a Wii. I had a Nintendo 64, and then I didn't get anything else until Nintendo Switch. So, for me, I'm gonna go with a relatively newer game. It's from a few years ago, called Celeste, which is like this platforming, like 8-bit looking game, and it's extremely difficult. But like when you die, you always feel like it's your fault. Like you don't feel like you got. So some games, when you die, you feel like you're getting cheated. Like they're trying to, and you feel like that with every game in your whole life. Yeah. But like sometimes, like legitimately, you feel like, oh, they made this extremely hard on purpose. With Celeste, it's like I did this wrong. I could do it again. So, but you die a lot, and but the soundtrack's incredible. Sometimes I'll just have the soundtrack on in the background while I'm working or stuff, and it's just this like really no dialogue, but there is a story to it. You have some text box and stuff, and then it turns out it's a whole story about like depression and overcoming your like inner demons and stuff. Like it's a really great game, and then it's extremely challenging. But it's usually like $10 or $20 to buy because it's an indie game. But it's incredible. I got it for free on Xbox, and then I bought it on the Switch and have not played it on the Switch. So that's mine. You ready to?
I am. I'm ready to fantasy.
Yeah. Which, by recap. Hannah's in third with 435. Jake is in second with 555, and I am in first with 820. And by the way, I had one of the daily winners and one of the elimination winners.
Yeah. So, well, let's just get right into this thing. Our sponsor is now brought to you by.
Oh yeah, Mucinex.
You nose running.
Mucinex.
Well, I was
Why
gonna say
did you?
Mucinex and then let him say the thing.
Not how it works.
Well,
yeah, I'm ready.
Let's get into it. We're gonna give Beth and Jordyn 10 points because mom and dad are home. Excuse me, mommy and daddy are home.
Nope, they didn't say
That
that.
was not a quote.
Yes is a grown man playing a grown game. 5 points. 10 points to Wes. I'm sorry for your loss, he says. Condolences.
To who?
This is in reference to Darrell.
But who did he say that to?
Derek. It was in that whole meeting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. Everybody wants Jordyn out. -10. It's never a good feeling to not be wanted.
That must be what Beth's whole life is like.
-15 to Beth and MJ for being sabotaged. Right into the daily here. Not a lot of points early on. Let's see here. Brad is uneasy.
Hold on, I can't find. Oh, Beth.
Brad is uneasy. -5.
Okay. By the way, if you didn't remember from last week, Beth, we are keeping track of her score, but she's not on anyone's team.
Jordyn is fast as truck.
Yeah.
For
Boy.
the kids. 10 points. The bad boys are picking on MJ. -10. That's what he said.
Yeah, they're not the mean girls; they're the bad boys.
MJ loses and is the first out. -15.
So going forward,
situations like this will be negative
still
points
the
for first out.
Okay. Yeah. I was just because again the game changed.
Yeah. Because it was -25 for being the first out and -15 for going straight in.
Yeah.
Mark wins 50 points. He's going to get 15 for being the authority now.
The only.
Yeah. Sylvia is only afraid of Mama. It's totally fine. 5 points. Beth's blood is boiling. -5. She's also the first out. -15. We get a little dance from Kellyanne. That's 10 points. John A is under Beth's skin. 5 points to John A. -5 to Beth. It's got to hurt having,
Blood boiling and then someone underneath there.
10 points to Kayla for the quote, "Babies are really expensive." Deductive logic there. Everybody's getting mad at John A. -5. 10 points to Ronnie for the quote, "When you come for me, I'm coming for you."
Oh, we didn't even talk about that they used, like, Crank That Soldier Boy in the middle of this daily.
Oh
and
yeah,
it did
I
not
forgot
fit
about
at
that.
all
I
with,
didn't.
like, the
I didn't
vibe
make a
of
note about it.
Like, it was weird. Like,
I don't even remember, to be honest with you.
it was.
Yeah,
they played
it was
for like
weird.
3 straight minutes in the guys' daily, and I was like, all these other songs have been like fun and like fit, and I was like, this just feels so out of place.
This feels like Soulja Boy contacted production and paid them to play his song.
Well, he sucks. So
Well, 50 points to Sylvia because she wins. An additional 15 because she's in the authority.
yeah.
An additional 15 to Sylvia and Mark. They have sabotage power. 10 points to MJ for the quote, sometimes life can be gritty. 10 points to Nehemiah for the quote, no fighting when the sage is here. 10 points to Yet. We got a lot of quotes here. Yes for the quote, nobody's dancing. Brad and MJ aren't seeing eye to eye. That's a -5. We get a little Janae and Beth spat. That's 10 points. We do promote fighting. 15 points to Janae for correcting her name. We're going to give -5 to Beth for getting her name wrong, as well as MJ.
Just in general,
just in
MJ's
general.
going to get...
You know what? We'll give 10 points to Beth for the quote. I'm just trying to shake things up here. We'll give 15 points to MJ and Janae for not having an affair.
Well, by that logic, you can give 15 to everyone on the show.
Well, but they're the focus here.
Yeah.
Wes is getting woke up to chat. -10. That had to be miserable. He's offering to go in. -15. We never agree with that line of thinking, but at least he's being a good friend. 5 points. -25 to Wes and John A. They get voted in.
Well, then by that logic, John A. needs to lose -15 because she told them to vote her in too. You gave Wes -15 for.
But I missed that. Yeah, give her -15.
I mean, it was a flashback, but she said put me in.
Yeah,
because I want to take out Beth.
Yeah. Let's see. 10 points to Wes. He says he's a troll. He also breaks the fourth wall. That's another 10. -25 to Beth, and yes, they're the ones that are picked to go in. According to Wes, Yes is the worst judge of character. -10 points to Yes. I'll give him 10 points for just wanting to nurture the flame of fairness and integrity.
Yeah.
But -5 because he's confused TJ. Beth got her name wrong again. -5. -25 to Beth because she quits. -50 because she also loses.
I was about to say she should lose more than 25 for quitting.
-20 because it's typical Beth. John A wins 75. 10 points to her for the quote. Thanks for your stars. We'll give 10 points to Wes because he supposedly has the elimination record.
Yeah.
Derek references his own podcast. -15.
That's his only score of the episode.
Jake, if you were on the challenge, would you reference Smashing Heads?
No, it's bad taste.
It is bad taste.
It's bad taste.
It's like I always used to put it in the same category as like when we were in bands in high school, there was one specific band that would wear all their own merchandise.
Ew.
And it's like, yeah, you're weird. Mm-hmm. And I'd be like, don't do that. Especially when you just live in this one town.
10 points to Brad for the quote. That's the money shot.
Okay.
10 points to Nehemiah for calling Wes juicy fruit.
Was he calling him juicy fruit, or was that?
Who knows? He just kept saying juicy fruit.
He did.
Let's see. I'll give 10 points to Yes for just yelling hump the wall.
He did.
15 points to Crop Top MJ. Wes wins 75. Yes loses -50. Brad with a loud HFY. That's heck freaking yeah.
Okay.
15 points to Brad if I didn't already say that.
You did not, but yeah.
-15 to Wes. He's the elimination king.
-15?
I'm sorry, 15 to Wes.
I was like, why is he losing?
-15.
Additional 10. He has a little Super Mario jump off the platform.
Yeah, I like that.
You know what? We'll get good sportsmanship between the two. Wes and Yes, 5 points. 15 points to Wes and John A for the stars. We're going to give 30 to Yes because he's TJ's favorite human to ever be on the challenge.
That's a high number, but I was going to say he should get a big number for
yeah.
this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's high praise. 5
points to Beth. She's going to practice the HOTS thing.
I'd say she's lying, so -40.
5 points. 15 to Ronnie for the ending quote. The hill is still long and high and going to be a tough... Sorry.
You okay?
Let's get a clean take on that.
Yeah.
Here we go.
15 points to Ronnie for the ending quote. The hill is still long and high and going to be tough to climb.
I was worried you were going to mess it up again.
That, ladies and gentlemen, are your fantasy points for the week. Again, brought to you by our sponsor. Got that nose running?
Mucinex.
Take a quick break. And we're back. One last time, shout out to our sponsors. Got that nose running?
Mucinex.
Did
you catch my little sniffle?
I did. That was good.
Thank you.
I think Beth might have the biggest. I think Beth so far has had the biggest losing day of this season, maybe of all of these All-Star seasons. If you're just wondering, because she's not on any of our teams, she ended up with a wrong. That was last week's negative 140.
Well, that's pretty bad.
Yeah. So Hannah's team was very easy. Jordyn ended up with 10, Nia 0, Latarian eliminated, MJ negative 10. So Jordyn and MJ cancel each other out. She's at a net 0 right now. John A 100, Kendall eliminated, and then Ronnie 25, and Jimmy's gone. So 125.
There you go.
Okay.
So for me, Wes got 115, Mark got 80, Brad got 15, Derek got negative 15, Veronica got 0, Kellyanne got 10, and Melinda and Tyler are eliminated. So for the week, 205 for me. Jake, Kayla got 10, Yes got negative 20, Cyrus, Darrell, and Tina are all gone. Nehemiah got 20, Cynthia's gone, but you did have Sylvia that got you 85.
Shout out.
So, again, you had negative 20 from Yes and plus 20 from Nehemiah, so those cancel. And then basically Sylvia and Kayla got you 95 points.
Okay.
Our
team's in trouble.
For sure, because you have now, after this week, you have Kayla, Nehemiah, and Sylvia.
That's it.
Wow.
And Hannah is still in third place. She has 560. Jake is in second with 650. So 90 points separate you guys. And I broke 4 digits with 1,025. So I am basically double Hannah and then not much less than doubling Jake. And I still have my top 6 picks. I've only lost my bottom 2.
It's trouble.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? You can suck it.
Trouble for you guys, for sure. And
I still think Nia's the most worthless pick.
It's been bad. So let's just if anybody's wondering, week 1, Nia got 0. Week 2, Nia got negative 10. Week 3, Nia got negative 10.
We're negative 20.
Week 4, she ended up with negative 5.
Negative 25.
And then this week got 0.
She is
She's a negative 20.
Negative 25.
That's got to be. That's so much worse than any of us would have ever guessed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For someone who's made it this long,
Yeah.
and that is like, you know, a matchup nightmare on paper for like eliminations and dailies and stuff. She's a negative 25 for the season, and her best scoring is when she hasn't done anything, when she gets 0.
That's her bet. That's her high score.
Yeah, she's a detriment anytime she scores. Wow, that's crazy.
That's pretty
crazy.
bizarre.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought that. And then on the opposite end, you know, Sylvia's been pretty solid, and she was, you know, your last pick. Mm-hmm. And then Tyler and Jimmy were Hannah and I's last pick, and they're both gone.
Jimmy was not my pick. I didn't pick Jimmy.
But you got her. You would have got Beth otherwise. We'll be back with you next week. I don't think it'll be next Wednesday, because again, Wednesdays are just weird. It just worked out this week, and I've got to update my list here of who went home. Nia might as well have gone home at this point, I think we could say. But I hope she turns it around, because I think we all were expecting big things from her.
Yeah.
So patreon.com/smashingheads podcast, at Smashing Heads on Twitter, at Smashing Heads podcast on Facebook and Instagram, and we'll be back with you next week.
Have a good night, everyone.